Hi, I'm Pastor Mark. Thanks for joining me in this video on how to do a Messianic Shabbat. Now, I just want to make it clear from the word go that we're Messianic. We believe that Yeshua is the Messiah, and so our halacha is a little bit different on everything that we do than maybe other forms of Judaism. But that being stated, this is a Messianic Erev Shabbat video. So we're going to start with the commandment. God says, remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. So there's two things that we do. We're called to remember, which means we have to collect our thoughts concerning what he has said about this beautiful, powerful day that we have every week, right? Remember the Sabbath. And number two, to keep it holy. So we have to do something in order to sanctify it, to make it different from all other days. And so one of the ways that we do that is an Erev Shabbat ceremony. And so we're going to show you how to do that. You're going to need a couple of things, of course: candles, some wine, challah bread, and a cup. And then what we're going to do is show you some of the rituals that we do, the prayers that we say, the liturgy. All of that, of course, is designed to help us remember and keep this day holy unto the Lord. So I usually come home on Fridays about 3 p.m. The Sabbath begins at sunset on Friday evening, and it ends at sunset on Saturday evening. And so, you know, for us who live in Colorado, that means I get home around 3 p.m. because I want to spend a couple hours just helping my wife as we get our home ready for those that are going to come. You know, we clean it up and set the table, get everything that we need out, you know, prepare the dinner, and then we're ready to go. We don't wait till the last minute. We want to encourage you to prepare well ahead of time for this 24-hour period of time, this sacred time in which we experience the holiness of God in a really powerful way, week in and week out. So we start, of course, just right before sunset with the lighting of the candles. Now, actually, there's something that comes before this. It's the hand washing ceremony. And you'll find that video down below in the description. So if you just go down below, there's a number of resources and links that you can go to get some of these items that we do in relationship to how we keep the Sabbath. That's a separate video. You can get that. You'll enjoy that. And then right before sunset, usually 10-15 minutes before sunset, we light the candles. And we have a woman who will do that. Usually the woman of the house will light the candles. And then we have some prayers in our book that you can download on our website. Just go to the link below. You can get your own booklet that has the ceremony, the order of the service for the evening. And so we do the candle lighting first, and there is a prayer that's recited in Hebrew and then in English. Now the Hebrew is optional, so you don't have to get worried about that. We've transliterated it, so it's easy to do. We even have videos on this as it relates to how to even sing it. But regardless, you can do the English-only version if you would like to do that. That's easier, and you can start there as you build your own traditions around how to keep the Sabbath. So she'll say a blessing, and then she'll also bless the entire group that's there that evening in your Erev Shabbat meal. After that comes the Kiddush. And the Kiddush, Hebrew, it means holiness. It's how we make this Sabbath, this day, holy unto our God. And the way that we do that is we do that with a cup of wine. And everyone will at this point pour a glass of wine. And we have liturgy that we're going to recite related to the Sabbath and to God as the creator of all things seen and unseen, how he created everything in 6 days and then rested on the Sabbath. And then on the heels of that liturgy, we will bless the wine together and partake of it. And again, the blessing is both in Hebrew and then in English, and then we partake of the wine together, and there's some more liturgy that we read. All of this designed to engage the five senses and to bring us into that sacred space and that sacred time called the Shabbat. And then we move to the blessing over the challah bread. We have a loaf of challah bread right here. And this bread is going to be uncovered. And I usually have my wife lift the bread up, and she'll recite the blessing as well. And the blessing is typically sung. You can find that video. But you can do it just in English if you'd like to. And it's a time in which we give thanks to God for providing everything that we need. And he does. He is our provider. And so we have a blessing over that. And then following that, we have a time in which we bless each other. We bless God, and then we bless each other. And we start with our wives, And I ask the men to get up and stand behind their wives and lay their hand on the head of their wife as they recite this blessing taken from Proverbs chapter 31, 10 through 31. And then when they're done, and it's amazing to watch this, I typically can see in the faces of the wives just this joy and this glory in having their husbands stand over them, affirm them, instill in them honor and respect and dignity. And then I ask the wives to stand and the husbands to sit. And the wives lay their hands on their husbands' heads. And they recite Psalms 112 over their husbands. And again, I just watch these men and how they just, they just sit upright with honor and respect as their wives instill into them that which they are worthy of as men of God. And then we move to the parental blessing over the children. We gather the children together. We have the parents stand over the children. Sometimes they might hold a tallit over them. Other times they just lay their hands on their heads. And then they pray blessings over their children. It's powerful to watch the presence of God grow during the evening, the smiles on the faces, people being esteemed, feeling like they're worth something, and having others speak blessing over them is so powerful in every way. And then that kind of brings the evening to an end. We usually end with a prayer, and then we spend some time cleaning up, and we have an afterglow usually after that. It's a good time for a midrash, but it's just a slow-paced evening. It's 24 hours of just rest, relaxation, study, worship. It's just filled with so much. And so that's kind of how the evening goes. Now, one of the things that I add in my particular Erev Shabbat is when we go to partake of the bread, I have everyone take a piece of bread, pull it off, we pass it around, and everyone gets their bread. And then I tell everyone, as we partake of the bread tonight, let's remind ourselves that we don't live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. That there's a spiritual aspect to our lives that is just as real and as important as our physical lives. And I ask everyone, let's make an offering to the Lord, each and every one of us. I want you to share something you're thankful for that you can offer up in this evening tonight. And I sit around and I listen to all the different people that are there share from their own personal experience what God is doing in their life currently, and they offer that up. And it's such an enriching time that just really brings home the beauty and the wonder of God's presence among his people and how he meets with us in a unique way every Shabbat. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please look at the description below. We have a lot of other resources for you as it relates to how we keep the Shabbat. Shalom. Peace to you and your family in the name of Yeshua.